Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Claw and the King podcast. I am joined by my co-host. Was that necessary?
Get rid of that stuff.
Mate, that was part of the furniture. That was showing my gambling addiction.
No, we don't
want to be.
We don't want to promote gambling to the youth.
Yeah, of course not. Of course not. Well, look, I was going to say I was joined by my co-host Dopey, but now I'm joined by my anti-gambling friend Oscar. How are you today?
Yep, I'm doing very well. Battling a little bit of a cold, but we push on
too.
these things.
I don't know what it. I feel like it's a common thing. Like, not to just digress into Australian.
Well, it went through my family, and I was the last one to pick it up. But I think it's just when winter hits, everyone's just body gets like a shock reaction, and then
it's tough. It's tough at the moment in Australia, mate. This weather's tough. Anyway, there's been a lot of sport sort of going on. I didn't know which sort of platform you wanted to jump off first. Do you have maybe an idea of what sort of sport you'd like to hit? I know there's been a lot going on, but has anything piqued your interest of like a specific way?
It all piques my interest as always. Let's start with football / soccer today. Change it up a bit. Yeah,
change it up.
Change up the order a bit. See if that spikes the viewership.
Nice. Hopefully. Now, in terms of, there's been a lot that's gone on. Obviously, with United winning the FA Cup.
United.
We can jump off there. I mean, what an absolute fantastic performance by Manchester United over Manchester City, 2-1 in an FA Cup final, pushing us into Europe as well, which is obviously a benefit. I didn't want to be conference league. I think we were out of Europe completely. But
is that Conference League?
No, we got Europa League. So it's Tim Pot, but not as Tim Pot as it could have been. So that's a plus. We knocked Chelsea into the Conference League. I think we knocked Newcastle out of Europe altogether. So that's a plus. But yeah, it was a great win. We really played well, and it was a shock. I think I fell asleep prior to it, and I ashamed to do so. I woke up again at 12:30, and I was like, "Fuck, I've missed half an hour of the game," but managed to catch us winning it. So that was a great bonus. Did you end up watching the game or no?
No, I obviously didn't watch it live. Saw the highlights. So, great. Look, it was a good win. You can't complain with a trophy in the season. Obviously, it's been a dreadful season.
Yeah, it's been shocking.
So everyone was saying before that Ten Hag was sacked going into the game, and he was just a dead man walking essentially. Do you think this one result has changed his future?
I don't know if it's changed his future. There's a lot of internal discussion going on at the moment. I would obviously lean towards keeping him, but it's tough. When you're new ownership, you have a lot to consider. And I think from their perspective, he hasn't done well in his opening season. Now, injuries have played a massive part, in my opinion. That's why I'd keep him. But for them, their perspective might be they want a new start. They want their own manager that they bring in. So, look, I would keep him. Simply because also there isn't that many great candidates out there. In other news, just to go off the handle a bit, Mourinho signed with Fenerbahce, which is
Fenerbahce,
a bit of an interesting one, actually.
Why?
So, but yeah, I'd keep Ten Hag. I don't know what you obviously are a casual, but do you have an opinion on it?
Well, look, he's not a manager that I'm like, yeah, we got to keep him. Obviously, he's had his issues. I mean, when you just look at players like Sancho, who obviously couldn't work alongside with how well he's done as soon as he's left the club. Like Varane's leaving now, right? Because they couldn't get along, and he fucking played amazingly in the final.
Yeah.
So, and he's been probably a top 5 centre-back in the world for 10 years. So there's players that he's not able to get the best out of for whatever reason. So that is a little bit alarming, but there isn't too many candidates. I have heard Tuchel is a possibility of wanting to come back to the Prem, and he's obviously had a lot of success at Chelsea. So, yeah, I'd be open to him, I think.
You'd be open to him? I wouldn't. I think he's a Tim Pot manager, personally. I mean, he was at Bayern the only year.
Did they just sign company?
Yeah, they did. Interesting. Got Burnley relegated, but that's good enough for the Bayern job, apparently. But by the by. Anyway, I think, United, best foot forward, I think, is to trust him. Look, same thing with Sir Alex. He was going to get fired. He had a couple of bad seasons, but won the FA Cup, which made him keep his job, and then the rest is history. So I think for the faith in the manager, I think most Man United fans would agree that they need to have faith in him. and they need to give him a full year, hopefully without injuries or major injuries for next season, and back him with appropriate signings. I think that would hopefully propel us forward, and we can maybe not challenge, but be secure in top four, and win the Europa League or compete to win the Europa League and compete to win the FA Cup again. And I think that would be the best step forward for the club, personally.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Did you see Man City's celebrations? Because obviously they won the Premier League, so they had a bit of a bus tour around the city. Did you see the lack of fans?
Yeah, I did.
What a tin pot frigging club that is. I mean, holy crap.
But to be fair, they've won how many?
I get it. And coming from a Penrith supporter, I think that maybe you have a bit of experience with tin pot.
There just is a bit of winning fatigue. It does happen.
I understand that, but it's still like a bus parade. You still should be getting more people than they did. And you should have more... I mean, when they stopped, I think, outside the stadium, and there was like a bunch of fans, and they're up on the stage or whatever. And it's just like so like dead. Like the atmosphere is so dead. Like if Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal win that league, it is heaving. And I get Man City have won 4 in a row. Those clubs haven't. But I still think if Man United or Arsenal or Liverpool winning their 4th in a row, I honestly think... Sorry, I got a bit of a cold. Speaking of colds, I honestly think that their parade would be so much better, and the celebrations afterward would be as well. So it's a bit dim pot. What can you do?
What can you do? Moving away from England to Europe, there's obviously one major game. I believe is it tomorrow left to be played in the club season, which is the Champions League final.
Champions.
How do you see that one going down?
My heart tells me Dortmund. My head tells me Madrid. So I'm going to go Dortmund.
I think everyone, like in Real Madrid, they've won it enough.
They've won it
someone
enough.
else a go.
I think, yeah. Look, if it was against City, I'd be the biggest Real Madrid fan in the world. But yeah, it's completely fair for me to be on the Dortmund side. And even though with the Sancho saga, I still think Dortmund should win it, especially for Royce.
Yeah, it would be nice to see Royce go out a winner. Obviously, one of the FIFA 14 OGs. We love to see him still going. So, nice to see him go out a winner. Get Sancho a Champions League. Get him back into United with some good form and confidence. That's what we'd like to see. Obviously, is Mbappe basically done to Madrid now? I've been seeing stuff about that.
Essentially, that's what's being said. He's done. So, interesting one. I think it's a bit of a weird one when you got Vinicius there. They're quite similar in the position they play. Don't know how it's going to work, but...
Well, it's just bullshit, really.
Why?
Because how do they always have, like, every single gun player? They just sign every single player.
Because Madrid, mate. Like,
They have Rodrigo, Vinicius.
To be fair, they signed them when they were...
Bellingham. Now they got Mbappe.
Yeah. I don't know what to... I mean,
it's
always been that case for Madrid. I mean, they've always done the best. It's... One, the place itself is Madrid, and then the club itself is Real Madrid. So it's a bit of a... Like, Man United, massive club, players want to play there, but it's also in Manchester, which rains all the time. It's not the most prettiest place in the world. So you can understand why Madrid is more of a destination for some of these players, especially the South Americans who want to be close to the climate at home. I don't know what I'm rambling on about, but I'm just...
He's French.
Well, yeah. The French is fucking tin pot as well. But anyway, that's by the by. Now, in terms of football, do you want to touch on the Euros briefly? Obviously, massive tournament coming up. Very excited for me, England. Going to win. Finally, football's coming home, which is...
Well, yeah. What are your thoughts on the... I don't think they've done an official squad. They've done an extended squad.
Yeah.
Any shock people not there or there?
I don't really think so. I think he's done actually quite a smart team.
I saw Rashford missed.
Smart. Been in terrible form. Absolutely. I would not play him. There's no way I'd want to play him in an England game, in a knockout game or a group game. So I agree with that completely.
Because Henderson missed, Sterling, he missed?
I think so, yeah.
There you go, changing of the guard.
I agree. I think these players are on the out. It's not like Sterling's going to find a new level to go to next season. I think he's on the downhill. So I agree with keeping him out. I think you want to get these young guys in, guys like Eze, Guys like, who else is on the wing for England? Cole Palmer. Obviously, he was going to get picked anyway.
Grealish.
Grealish isn't that great, but there's a lot of good young English players. Jarrett Bowen. I definitely go with those guys and see how they do. See how they go in tournament format. I don't know our chances. I think we're actually favourites. I think even from like the bookies standpoint, I think we're picked as favourites, which is really bizarre. I don't know.
Is it? You have a gun team.
We got a gun team, but it's like we never win.
How can you even fit all the players into the team? That's the challenge, really.
How is France not the favourites? I mean,
I don't know. I don't
Chouameni, Camavinga, Mbappe. I mean, they got to a World Cup final. We got fucking pissed out.
Yeah, but I don't think their squad is as strong as it was 4 years ago.
Yeah, but I still think it's a good team.
It's still a good team, but like England's team is insane.
Yeah. I agree.
Maybe the defense is a little bit lacking, but the midfield is fucked.
Yeah.
Declan Rice, Foden, Bellingham.
Yeah.
Kane
up top.
Kane.
Yeah, it's a good team, so we need to win. We got an easy group, kind of. I think we got Denmark in there. Slovenia, Slovakia.
I think was it Belgium on your side?
Belgium's not in our group. I'm not too sure.
No, but on your... Yeah.
Might be.
I'm pretty sure all the good teams really are on the other side of the draw. Is anyone else really... Is Ronaldo playing?
Ronaldo?
Yeah.
I haven't even thought about it. I think he might be. I'll double check.
Entering his 45th Euros?
Maybe.
That would be exciting.
That'd be exciting. Good chat. Good chat.
Would be to see the old boy run around one more time.
Let's see. Euros. Are they in the Euros?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a look. Let's have a gaze. No, they haven't announced it yet.
They haven't announced it, so everyone's waiting with bated breath there to see if he makes the team. Who else are the favourites? I mean, Spain. Are they up there now?
Spain are up
because they always flop in the World Cup.
Yeah. Look, the main thing with Spain is their attacking talent is completely gone.
Yeah, but their midfield is always goated.
But they're not as high as they thought they'd be, I think. I think the likes of Gavi and Pedri were sort of put on a timeline too early, maybe. I think they were sort of seen as the next guys, but they're not showing it at the moment. So, yeah, I don't think they're a chance, really, because of how bad they've been. I think France.
Italy, are they strong?
On paper, yes. Germany, yes. I think Germany will be. I think Germany's team is unreal with the attacking talent they've got. Musiala, who's English. Fuck you, cunt. But yeah, Musiala, you've got Sane, you've got Gnabry. You've got a lot of attacking talent there, so I expect them to do well.
But I feel like they've been sort of flopping recently as well in major tournaments. Ever since they won in 2014, I feel like they've just absolutely flopped.
Germany and Spain, their talent has gone under because the depth of those teams back in the day were unreal. So yeah, it's changed a bit.
Yeah, well, interesting times, exciting times, obviously.
Very exciting.
Major footballing tournaments.
Very exciting.
There's nothing quite like it in terms of the atmosphere it creates and the hype around the event. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, I don't know who I guess I go for France, but
God, I forgot you were French.
I would like to see England make the final and lose. That would just be funny.
It wouldn't be funny for me. It'd be quite disappointing, actually.
And it is, well, yeah, obviously. But when the the thought of it's coming home and the it's coming home mantra is up and about, that's when it's coming. It's at its most entertaining.
It's coming. Sorry, I just got in the mood. But yeah, I wish I was in England at this time. This is the Euros is when you wish you were in England. It's summer. You got the beers out. You're just in a beer garden. You're taking time off work. It's just lovely. It's the middle of winter. It's pissing down with rain here. It's at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's like, come on, what am I doing here? But yeah, hopefully England pull through.
Yeah, we'll see. Is there anything else to talk about there?
Not really. I think football season's kind of ended. Transfer windows come up. Nothing major's happened yet that I know of, apart from Mourinho going and managers switching. But apart from that, it's probably heat up within the next week or so, I'd imagine. But probably the next time we talk, it'll be in full swing.
All right, let's move on then. NBA. Yesterday, Dallas ended up beating Minnesota to move through the finals. So we now have the NBA finals set, the Boston Celtics versus the Dallas Mavericks. I think last time we spoke, it was the beginning of the third round maybe, or second round?
Yes.
I don't know what it was. But anyway, this is where we are now. How have you seen those two conference final series? I would say it was arguably one of the worst conference finals of all time.
Yeah. It was bad. I think, look, the Minnesota side, even though they nearly got swept. Sorry. I'm cooked today. Sorry. Even though Minnesota nearly got swept, I still think that they had a pretty good effort in most games. I mean, I don't know how you felt about it, but...
I mean, effort, yeah, but they just sucked. So they got destroyed. Obviously, the main thing is everyone was talking about Rudy Gobert's performance in the series. Obviously, he got fraud checked, so that was nice to see. As I am Rudy Gobert's biggest hater.
Yeah, we're the part of the fan club, if we're honest.
Yeah. And a lot of the NBA players are as well. I mean, you see Draymond Green get on NBA on TNT and literally just roast Rudy Gobert the whole time he's on there.
Well, yeah, I mean, but he was a bit insufferable.
Yeah, he was. But, yeah, I mean, obviously, it brings up the thing, how can this dude be the best defender in the NBA when he's literally unusable in the playoffs? The guy is... I don't know if he has basketball shoes on, but it looks like he has roller skates on when he's just outside the paint. So, he got exposed, which was, you know... He's been getting exposed for 10 years in the playoffs. I mean, I don't know how these guys think it's going to be any different every year they go into the playoffs with him. But, yeah, Minnesota disappointing. Cat obviously played pretty poorly most of the series. The big knock on him is that he just jacks up threes and then has no other post moves, even when he's a center. But
frustrating. His decision-making is poor as well. Let's be real. Some of his decisions are just embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. So... yeah, Ant-Man didn't shoot well. I think that was probably the most disappointing part of it. But I think Minnesota should have won probably 2 of the first 3 games. So they shot themselves in the foot early in the series. And then that last game, they just got blew out of the water. So, yeah, Dallas were the better team. And they deserve to go through, though, in the end. On the other side, Boston, Indiana, was that even a series? I don't think I watched a single minute of that. So,
no, but, yeah, terrible series. The fact that Indiana even made it that far is a joke. Boston, probably the easiest run to a finals ever. Like, the sad truth of it is we have no idea how good Boston are because they've played no one. The East was shit to begin with. But then when you add on the fact that the best player on every single team you played didn't play, it's just ridiculous. And I know you can say Porzingis has been injured for the Celtics, but, like, who gives a fuck? They were going to win with him or without him. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
So, we'll see how they go in this series. Hopefully, pray to God, Luka and Kyrie stay healthy. And hopefully we can get a decent series. 6 games. Give me 6 games. I'll take that. 7 games would be nice, but...
who's your prediction?
I want Dallas to win, so I'm going to go with Dallas. I would hate to see Boston win, but... if this Celtics core is ever going to win a championship, it has to be now. Like... it has
never been an easier run to the finals. And look, I'm a I don't know if you listen to Bill Simmons. Do you know who Bill Simmons is?
I know he is, but...
well, there's a podcast, and he's obviously a massive Celtics fan. And he's an ardent defender of both Tatum and Brown. Look, me, on the other hand, I see their flaws. And he obviously rightly says, what about their availability? Every other major star has massive availability problems. But Tatum and Brown managed to stay healthy for the majority of the time, which, to their credit, they do. And he made the point that puts Tatum in the conversation for the top 5 player in the NBA. Now, I personally don't think that's true.
No.
Just because his impact, no matter how you feel about him, in the playoffs and in, winning situations, I just don't think he's that great of a player. Like, I think he's good. and he's an all-star level player. But is he top tier of a player? Can you have a mediocre team around him and him still carry his team to the playoffs? I don't think so.
Well, you could argue yes. I mean, if we think back to the start of their careers when they did make that conference finals run with when Kyrie was on the Celtics and was injured the whole year and Gordon Hayward was injured and they ended up still going to the conference finals. You could argue that. And I think Jason Tatum can get a team to the playoffs for sure. But it's just about going to that next level that is required in the playoffs to win a championship. And I don't know if he's got that in him. I mean, this postseason, even though they've won very easily, it's probably been one of his worst postseasons.
Yeah.
So it's weird. And a narrative that comes up every year that I've noticed is whoever ends up winning the championship, you would usually say the best player on that team is the best player in the world, you know?
Yeah.
2019 Kawhi, when Giannis won, he was the best player. Jokic the last year, he's the best player in the world. If the Mavs win, everyone's going to say Luke is the best player in the world. If Boston win, I don't think anyone is going to be throwing Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown's name in that conversation. So
it'll be like the Pistons when they won it, the bad boy Pistons. It'll be exactly like that.
Yeah,
they won it as a team, and for the Tatum lovers and the Celtics fans, they'll see it as disrespectful to Tatum. But you've got to take into context. Is it a coincidence that when they make the finals, I mean, they made the finals against, was it the
Warriors?
The Warriors. And when they made the finals this year, their run has been quite easy. And it's nothing against them, but when you go up against you go up against the Heat without Jimmy Butler, you go up against
they've lost to Jimmy Butler like 3 times.
And when they've faced teams that are healthy or their superstar is healthy, they've crumbled. And when they face the Warriors in those finals, when all those stars were healthy, they lost. And they lost convincingly. So, as much as you can hop on about Tatum, he'll never be the best player in a fully healthy playoff series, in my opinion. Unless it's in a first round against the Pacers or the Knicks. But even the Knicks now. I think Jalen Brunson's a better player than Jason Tatum.
It's debatable.
But it's in the same conversation. Yeah. He's never going to be far and away the best player. And that's what I think hurts the Celtics. Because what are they going to do? Other than... I mean, look, they've got to the finals. Great. But are they going to beat this Dallas team with Luka and Kyrie playing this well, with PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively playing this well? Time will tell. But I'm very skeptical. So that's why I've got Dallas in this series.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see Dallas win. And when we look back on Dallas' season, I mean, what an incredible turnaround. I think a lot of people, even most people, potentially had them missing the playoffs altogether at the start of the season. Based off the small sample size we got last year of Kyrie and Luka, they went from like 8th to missing the play-in altogether at the back end of last year or something like that. So the fact that they've managed to turn it around and create what some people are saying is the best offensive backcourt of all time,
which I agree, by the way.
Yeah, they are very good. Is pretty incredible, and obviously the trade deadline helped massively bring in Washington and Gafford. So yeah, crazy turnaround. I don't think anyone would have predicted Dallas coming out of the West at the start of this season.
I mean, they were poor at the start. I mean, people were saying, why did they re-sign Kyrie? I mean, that was the conversation going around. I mean, even when they traded for Kyrie last year, there was major flaws in that team. They weren't playing this well, and they've made it work. So, props to them.
Yeah. Jason Kidd, what a coach. I mean, what a guy.
What a guy. I wouldn't say that. He's
is he a dodgy guy?
You know what I heard? He got into like fights with his wife. I think things got a bit physical. Allegedly. So I don't know. I think it's being solved. But anyway, allegedly.
Right. Hey, Mark Cuban, he does his background checks. So
yeah. Imagine how he must be feeling. I mean, he's like, I've just sold the team and we're going to probably win a chip.
Well, he didn't sell all of it.
I think he did, didn't he?
I thought he just sold a part of it.
Well,
he's still there every game.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Maybe because he's like got billions of dollars.
Probably. Anyway, moving on. In terms of basketball as well, did you want to touch on where the Pacers and where the Timberwolves go from here?
Yeah, we can. So, well, the Pacers, they've massively overachieved. I mean, I don't know what they can do going into next season. Obviously, having Halliburton healthy will help. But, yeah, it's just Indiana. You can't see Indiana ever being a team that's like a perennial contender. So, I think they go back to mediocrity next year.
That's fair. I agree. Unless they add some ridiculous free agent, there's no chance.
Yeah.
They get Paul George back, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, I saw that Paul George wants like a 5-year max from the Clippers or something, which you got to be absolutely brain dead to give him that at this point.
But again, the Clippers, I've said this many times, the Clippers are in a position where they're like, he knows the Clippers have to do it because we have no draft pick, so we need to compete for as long as we can.
But you're going to be playing like a 38, 39-year-old Paul George, 50+ million a year.
But that's probably the time period that we'll get our draft picks back. So it's going to be like, well, do we either... I mean, we're going to get no benefit from letting him go. So, I mean, they know they're hamstrung by it. They know that they've got a new stadium next year. They need, star players in there. I think in his heart he probably wants to stay at the Clippers because he's there with his family. He loves LA. So I think in his heart he probably wants to stay with the Clippers.
Yeah, but just...
And I think
take a little bit less money.
Well, I think if he's smart, he plays his hardball for as long as he can and stays with the Clippers because no one else is paying him that money. Apart from the Clippers will pay him the most money, and he knows that. So, I think that's the case. And Kawhi recently came into, under fire by Stephen A. Did you see that? He called him.
No.
Stephen A. called him the weakest superstar ever. I think he's called him it a couple of times, or the worst superstar ever.
Well, yeah, it is pathetic how much he gets injured, but
he's not the worst superstar ever, is he? He's
no, in terms of his ability, no.
I get it. He doesn't promote the game, but neither does fucking Jason Tatum. I mean, where do you see Jason Tatum ever?
No, but everyone's come around. Like, remember back at the Spurs, people literally hated Kawhi Leonard. They were like, "Why is this guy so weird?" But now everyone he's like a lovable weirdo.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people don't like him because of... Well, and I will agree. I think he could play in some of those playoff games that he's missed. I think he doesn't play through injury, and that is happened with him at the Spurs, happened with him at the Raptors, happened with him throughout his career. He doesn't play through niggles or injuries. And someone like... I think Luka was injured this series, and he played every game. So now obviously Kawhi has serious knee problems, so there's a bit of a difference in terms of the consequences, but I think there is a legitimate case to be had where he doesn't sort of play through injuries, and as a fan, that's frustrating. That is frustrating for me. So I can understand where you're coming from. However, and I agree, I don't think he should play for Team USA. I think they would be a joke if he played.
Is he going at the moment?
I think so. And that's a joke. That is a joke. Because
he's going to get injured. So.
It's a spit in the face. It's a spit in the face for Clippers fans. It is.
Yeah, it is. Well, and if I just think about it personally, I would like to think if I didn't have like an actual torn ligament or broken bone or something, I would try to go out there in a playoff game and try to play.
As Charles Barkley said, we play basketball. We're not, we don't have hard jobs. Our job is to play basketball. And if you're playing basketball, you got to play through injuries. And look, you don't play through a torn ACL, but you play through niggles here and there, especially playoff time. And he just hasn't. I think 60% of playoff games he's played, that the Clippers have been in, he's played. So it's his availability is in question. Now Paul George is as well, but I think he's had serious injuries. I don't think he's not playing through injuries. I think it's more the fact that he's torn something and he just can't play and he's been out. So I don't know where he goes from here, where the Clippers go, but ever since they made that trade, they knew they had to keep these guys for as long as these draft picks lasted, because as much as you might want to do it, you can't, because you cannot afford to have... You've already given away Shaq. You've already given away Jalen Williams. You cannot give away more top 10 picks, more top 5 picks. So that's how it is. So it's sad.
Yeah, it's good stuff from the Clippers. You love to see it.
I don't, but I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's Minnesota. Okay, what do Minnesota do next year? Trade Gobert instantly. Obviously, his value will be pretty low at the moment, but you just got to do what you got to do. Cat is he can't really play 4. He's a center. We said it 2 years ago when they made the trade. It doesn't make sense in today's NBA. I know you can say,
it worked.
They made the conference finals. Yeah, and then they had a 1 seed, so it worked. But for the people that really understand the game, it's never going to work in terms of a championship.
Well, I think what's actually been proved is not what they've done, but like on the same sort of train tracks of what they're thinking. You look at the Mavs; they have 2 very impactful big men, and in the playoffs,
but they're not on the floor together.
That's what I mean. You can have 2 very impactful big men, and it helps, and it's shown in this in these playoffs. If you have 2 really good big men that can rotate in and out, you'll do very well. However, when you've got Cat and Gobert on the court at the same time, it can in a bit. And now against the Nuggets, it helped, but against a team like Dallas, where it's more guard orientated, they struggled. So I think it is definitely something that they need to think about. Do they trade both of them, or do they trade one of them? Now, I think they'll lean towards probably trading none of them, which is not great if you're a Timberwolves fan, but I'd consider trading both of them. I think Cat is poor. Watching Cat play must be the most frustrating thing as a fan. He cannot play. He is so frustrating to watch. But Gobert is a bigger problem for me, even though he's a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, which is I can't believe that's even happened. He has 0 impact in the playoffs. And no matter how much he helps you in the regular season, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, the main thing is winning a championship. And if he's not going to help you do that, sod him. And there will be teams out there that will take him. There will be teams that will trade you first-round picks for him because of his impact in the regular season. And he's a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. And he's a Hall of Famer, which is crazy. He's a Hall of Famer. It's not even a joke. He will be a Hall of Famer. That's not a joke.
Yeah. Is Derrick Rose a Hall of Famer?
No.
But Rudy Gobert is.
Yeah. So that's basketball for you. But no, I think you can get some value out of Gobert, and hopefully you'll rebuild around Ant, and you'll maybe Mike Conley's getting older. Maybe you look at the guard spot and maybe getting a better point guard. And
Mike Conley's also a notorious loser in the playoffs. So. And he's 35, 36? I mean, how much longer can he keep doing this, You got to find someone. Obviously, they did have D'Lo, but that didn't work out. So, I don't know. Can Ant just be the one, and then you just put role players around him?
No, I think he's Michael Jordan, so you just got to keep him at the 2. No, I think Conley helps with how he sets up the offense, so I think a player in his mold might do well. So, yeah. I think a point guard for Timberwolves is in order in free agency. Now the Pacers. Don't know if you touched on it, but what do they do?
Well, what do they do? I guess.
I don't know
briefly, because no free agents are going to go there. They're not going to want to trade Halliburton or Siakam, which are their tradable assets. So, like Miles Turner, can they look at a trade around that? But he was decent for them. I don't really see what they can do.
Yeah, to be fair, like I said earlier, it's Paul George or bust for me. You've got to get Paul George because he's the only viable free agent that you can maybe get. So that's my opinion. But I think Indiana are content with being solid, so I don't think they'll do anything. Now moving on. Did you want to touch on anything else surrounding basketball, or you wanted to move on to...
I think that's all good.
All right, did you want to move on to the rugby?
Yeah.
The rugby.
State of Origin. We can do a big-ass preview. So, obviously, I don't know what day this is. What is this? Saturday. The game's on Wednesday. 4 days' time. Best time of the year in Australian sport, State of Origin. The teams have been picked. Everyone's talking about it. I guess we can go through and sort of analyse both teams and then how we see the game going. We'll start with New South Wales because obviously, fuck
Do you know it off by heart?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah, fuck Queensland, obviously. So, we'll start with New South Wales.
Calm down.
Obviously, the biggest talking point probably starts with the number 1. Finally, my boy is in. I've only been asking for it for about 4 years. Dylan Edwards is in the team. He gets his crack at the New South Wales fullback jersey at the expense of James Tedesco, the captain. Obviously, I'm a fan of this. Obviously, you're not a fan of this. But
I think Dylan Edwards is a good player in the Penrith system. I've never not said that. However, big however, he will get shown that he has limited talent in this series. He will get like him, I do, but he's just so mid, and I hate to use that word because I sound like a 12-year-old.
How can he be mid when he averages like 200 plus meters a game?
I get it. But in terms of his actual talent and try creating ability, he is nowhere near Tedesco. And if you say that he is, then you're
at this point, he for sure is. Tedesco is not the same player.
He had 5 try involvements last week.
Yeah, but against who?
We've
when you
scored,
put 50 points on.
We've scored 160 points in our last 3 games. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and he's just on the back of that. Like Sam Walker and Luke Keary's doing all that. But Dylan Edwards, I can see how you can make that assumption just by looking at his play style. He doesn't run with sort of
he doesn't pass
explosive speed. He does pass. He doesn't have
I don't care about his
He doesn't have the
speed.
flair, but he still manages to create breaks, opportunities, try scoring opportunities. He just doesn't look explosive or athletic when he does it, but he's still very successful at doing it.
Look, and also the other part that an intangible part that you're not considering is when you have a new coach and you have a new system and you have new players and you need a consistent leader and a voice in that locker room. You cannot just fling in and take out Origin is not captain.
Origin is not about that.
Yeah, it is.
Especially when the whole team is Penrith anyway. So all he needs to do is do the same thing he does for Penrith.
I can't get behind it. It is. I look at the back line and I'm like, where are we going to score tries? Who is going to create tries? Who?
Look, we only need to score like 2 tries. We just defend.
Jerome Luai, great runner of the football, is not a passer. Nico Hines is a good player, but is he the creator that many halves for New South Wales that he could have been picked are? No. You watch Mitch Moses, creates way more than Nico Hines.
Yeah, well, he had a broken foot.
I would, if after Mitch Moses' performance on the weekend, I'd put him in right now. I don't care. Cut Nico Hines right now. Get Mitch Moses in. But no, I just look at it and I look Lomax, Suwali, who else? Crichton. Crichton's a very good player. I think obviously he should have been picked. And then Brian To'o and Dylan Edwards. I don't know who's going to create those tries. Where is the masterful play? My whole thing about, and we'll get on to the rest of the team, but just for a preview, I think it's way too defensive focused. And we're going back to the days where we had to pick tough guys like Bo Scott because they were tough. Like, that's all we pick players for because we were so void of talent in comparison to Queensland. But that's not the case now. We actually have talented players.
Well, I think Queensland has a better team than us now, talent-wise.
But marginally. I think it's marginal. If we picked our best team, which I don't believe this is, I think they marginally have a better talent.
Yeah. Well,
and with Munster out, and Ponga, guys like Ponga out, I think it's quite even actually.
It's close. And yeah, there is changes I would make for sure. Like, so the centers, Crichton obviously has to be there. Suwali, I would never have picked at center. I wouldn't have picked him anyway. But if you have to pick him,
he's a better winger.
Yeah, like he's a dodgy center for the Roosters every week. I mean,
I think he's a good center. I think he's a good center, but I would have picked him on the wing.
Yeah, it's just a strange one. And then Zach Lomax as well. Like, you can't pick Lomax and Suwali. It has to be one or the other.
Well, Lomax had a stinker.
Yeah, now, the thing with Lomax is everyone's saying, a lot of errors and shit like that. But what we're forgetting is he plays for the Dragons. So if he doesn't score, they're fucked. So every time he gets the ball, he's thinking, I may as well lose it here in the attempt at scoring.
Is he too used to playing like that, though?
Well, no, so that's all they have to do is drill into him. The players around you know how to play.
But it's like natural instincts. Like, he's done it for so long now that I don't think a week of telling him to do it is going to change it.
Training as well. That's all he does at training is practice not doing flick passes. So, but he is a good ball runner coming out of his own end. And he's got good aerial ability, which apparently fucking matters. So...
Yeah, but what I don't get is, again, we've picked guys that are great attacking wise under the high ball, like Critter, Suwali, Lomax, unreal. And I think under the high ball, they could be very, very dangerous as a group. But Luai and Hines are not fucking high ball kickers. Like, Luai can kick it about 10 meters.
Yeah, but...
Like, why can't we
we're screwed because everyone's injured. Like,
why not Burden? Why is Burden not
Burden
start?
should be in the team somewhere. I cannot fucking believe he's not in the team somewhere. I mean, a lot of people would have had him at 6. Most people would have had him at centre, and fucking everybody would have had him at 14 at least.
Yeah.
Like, there's
picking forward. Again, we'll get to that, but we'll get to it. Okay, so we've gone through the back line. You're a bit arm and arm about. Would there be any sort of...
I would have had... would I have had Latrell? Because 6 weeks ago, I was like, there is no fucking chance that dude is touching a blue jersey. But because of the circumstances, I might have actually picked him. On the wing, I probably would have had Fox.
What?
He's been playing well.
No, that's a shocking one.
Really?
That's shocking.
He's been playing well.
He looks like he's lost 10 yards of pace. He's got no...
Did you see the try he scored last night?
Great. He can do a chip and chase against the Knights. Great. He's not a good... Like...
Well, it doesn't matter now. He's injured, but...
There's no way you pick him over Sawali. That's ridiculous.
I honestly would.
I would pick Lomax over him. I'd pick Sawali over him. I'd pick Charlie Staines over him.
Who was the other centre? Who was the other centre option? We could... I mean, Tago. Tago could do a job.
But then that's just taking the piss there. We might as well just pick the whole team.
But, it's challenge. Actually, no. Sorry, Burton. I would have had Burton there.
I would have had Burton at 6. Let's get on to the halves.
The halves.
Would you have picked that halves combination?
It just depends, because I probably... Would I have Burton? Yes. But I personally think we don't have a centre, and I think Burton at centre works better for the team. Say that the team's already picked. Say Tom Trbojevic was healthy and he was playing centre, I would have Burton at 6.
Okay.
But I don't hate the Luai at 6. He's obviously played very well the last 2 weeks.
But at Origin, he's shit.
Well, he was last year.
And the year before.
But it's just... we're just low on troops. I mean, you can't throw Luke Keary in there.
Tired forwards that play for the friggin' Eels or whatever. Like, he's great at that. Like, tired, fat,
no, but
he
does have games where he fucking is a beast.
Yeah, I agree. But he's never going to create, like, with his kicks or with his passing. That's the problem with him. When he's got Cleary next to him. And look, he's played well without Cleary next to him, so I want to be clear about that. But you've never watched a game and said, wow, Luai, what a pass. Wow, Luai, what a kick.
I think you have.
I don't think I have.
Well, I have.
Or not enough, not on a consistent basis enough to get picked for Origin. And as, like, Nico Hines is going to be on one leg, and which is a shocking decision, but we'll get onto it. Luai is going to need to be a really big playmaker. And has he ever been that? And when he's tried to do it for New South Wales in the past, has he ever done that well? No.
No, but...
So Burden's the obvious choice. Burden's been playing well. His boot is massive, which helps with the backs that we already have. And he's got versatility that if someone goes down in the centres, we can put him into the centres and say we have Luai on the bench or we have whatever. He has flexibility in that he can play both centre and half, and that is a rare thing in Origin, especially because a lot of centres go down, a lot of halves go down. So his ability to be versatile and be in there is so valuable.
Yeah, well, I think there's some sort of... He must have, like, done something against the state of New South Wales because he's religiously picked as 18th man, and I don't understand how he just cannot make this fucking team.
If he's not on the bench on Wednesday, I'd be absolutely shocked.
Yeah. But, yeah, I guess Hines at 7, I think we had to pick him. Obviously, he was the only choice.
But with the injuries, though.
Yeah, but I don't think he's injured.
You go Katoa.
Katoa? No, you don't go Katoa.
I would have.
No, you don't go Katoa.
I know it sounds stupid, but he is unreal. And we were at Magic Round. I loved him. He is such a good player. And I don't know, there's something about... Like, he's just such a dynamic...
He's too
player.
young. He's not...
Like, as a playmaker, is he better than Luai and Hines? No, he's not better than Hines as a playmaker, but he's... Like, if you're talking about Hines is injured. Who else?
I don't think he's injured, though.
Would you pick Keary at 7?
Fuck no.
Then who would you pick?
If Hines is injured.
He's on one leg. He done about 15 minutes of running, and that's about it.
Yeah, but I think it's smoke and mirrors. I think he's fit.
I don't think it's smoke and mirrors. He was hobbling on one leg. What do you mean it's smoke and mirrors? He had to get carted off.
He's right, mate. He's good to go.
Okay, what if he wasn't good to go? What if he's had an aggravation of the injury? Who are you picking in the halves?
Moses.
But you didn't know. Moses not going to get picked, though.
Luai and Burton.
You go on Luai and Burton.
Luke Keary, I cannot play. I'm sorry.
But Luai at 7 for New South Wales.
This is the state we're in, the situation we're in.
So you'd rather have Luai at 7 than Katoa?
Well, yeah, they're not going to fly Katoa in on 2 days' notice.
Let's say it's not 2 days' notice. Let's say it's a week out. Would you rather have Luai at 7 over Katoa?
I would.
I disagree. I would have picked Katoa personally. I just think he's an organizer. He can create massively with his passing game. He's a good kicker as well. He's carried a Dolphins team that you on paper look wank. And look, they got a great coach, but they're a donkey. And somehow they're 4th. So you tell me how he impacts winning.
Mate, yeah, we'll see. Maybe in a couple of years. Maybe next year. Actually, no, not next year.
But that's the thing. When else does he get his chance? Because I think he deserves it. And
well, he'll get it. He's very young. He'll get his
Moses
chance.
is also very young. Cleary,
Moses is 30.
Is he?
Yes.
Okay, well, Cleary's 25 or 26, so he's not going to get his chance. Oh, well, if Cleary keeps on getting injured,
he can play 6.
Fair. Okay, well, look. I personally would have gone Katoa, but that's enough about the halves. The halves wasn't the worst part of the list. Now, front row. So you've got Haas, Trebojevic, Robson. Any queries or questions about it?
Obviously, Haas has to be there. No brainer. Best forward in the comp, or best prop in the comp. Jake.
Starting, I like. I think if you're not going to have...
Jake is a difficult one because he's really not that good at NRL level. But
he's pretty bang average.
Yeah. But it's like, do you have to pick him because he's just does the job for New South Wales every time? Or do you go with someone who's clearly better at NRL level but might not get it done at state level? I'm
not saying that he's as good as this player, but it's almost the Boyd Cordner effect. Like, Boyd Cordner...
Yeah, but Boyd, even though I thought Boyd was kind of overrated, he was
very good. He was one of the top second rows in the comp. But his leadership abilities enhanced.
Yeah, but Jake Trebojevic literally averages like 80 metres.
Yeah, I get it. But I'd also, if you're saying Teddy's not in the team, who's going to be a captain?
Well, it would be Yo.
I would not pick Yo.
As a captain or in the team?
And as a captain. If my second choice, who's your second choice for captain? Who's your vice captain in this team? It'd be Jake. So I agree with it because I think leadership is underrated in Origin, especially by New South Wales fans. I think we overrate someone's ability, and I'm guilty of it. I'm doing it right now, but I think leadership is a very underrated quality of Origin that Queensland always have in abundance, and we don't necessarily have. So I definitely pick Jake. If you're going to pick a captain for New South Wales, I think he's perfect for it. So I agree with that. I don't want to see him playing as many minutes as Payne Haas, but I agree with him starting and being captain. Number 9 is probably the worst pick of the bunch for me. You can pick Dylan Edwards because he's a good player and he's playing well. You can pick Luai and Hines because they're good players and they're playing well. Robson is playing bang average in a shit Queensland team when you have Api Coruscant, who is undoubtedly a top 2 hooker in this comp. And he's carrying a Tigers team that is pony, absolute pony. And he's playing well. He's had a couple of injury concerns. I get that, but he's healthy right now, and you have to pick him. I don't know what your feelings are on it, but I think it was the worst, most shocking pick of the bunch.
Well, I think it's just based on how he wants this team to play, and I think because he doesn't have a utility on the bench, Robson's going to have to go 80 minutes. And I think you'd be more confident in Robson going 80 minutes than Appy. I think if you pick Appy, there has to be a rotation somewhere. In terms of like craftiness and attacking.
But defensively, I'd take Appy. I think Appy's a gun tackler.
I love Appy. I would not be like against seeing him in the team. But I can see the thought process behind picking Robson.
Robson, I'd pick so many others. Not
Who?
so, but
Damien Cook's fallen off a cliff.
Yeah. I wouldn't pick
Mitch Kenny. That's who Freddie had in his team.
God, could you imagine Mitch Kenny?
Everyone, and people are like, oh, maybe we did be a bit too harsh on Freddie. And then we saw his the team he would have picked come out. We're like, oh yeah, that's why we got rid of you.
Oh yes. But no, I understand it after thinking about it, but it still is not the right pick for me.
No. Yeah,
I imagine Appy.
I mean, potentially with the lack of attack we do have in the halves now, you need someone like Appy. But yeah, like Madge clearly has a plan of.
It was almost like he was shifting the Tigers. Like he was like, "Yeah, Tigers, you sacked me. I'm not going to pick any of your players. Fuck you."
But
like,
he signed Appy,
but he never got to coach him. So it was like, "All right, Appy, mate, you going well? Yeah, you think you're the best hooker?"
And they won a comp together at South.
Exactly. I don't know. I'm not saying that was a reason, but I'm just, and I get the 80 minutes thing of it, but I just can't fathom it that you're not picking Api Coruscant over Reece Robson. Sorry, he's been bang average, and Queensland suck. They suck. Not Queensland,
the Cowboys.
Yeah.
It's honestly not the thing I'm most upset about. We'll get onto that later, but second row. Liam Martin and Angus Crichton, no-brainers. Obviously, injury.
I would have picked Olakuatu over Liam Martin. I would have put Liam Martin coming. I think Liam Martin has more flexibility than Olakuatu as well. I think he can play prop as well as second row. So I think him off the bench would be really good. And Olakuatu's in better form this year. That's just...
Yeah.
I think that should have been. That should have happened. But I don't hate it.
Yeah. But like, Olakuatu can come on at back row. Liam Martin can shift into the middle.
Yeah, I get that. But again, my thing was mainly form, where Olakuatu's been arguably the best.
Yeah, but like Liam Martin was the Blues' best player last year.
Okay.
He's a fucking gun for New South
Wales.
Wales.
Yeah, there was no major worries. No, it's Cam McInnes. I couldn't even get the words out. Cam McInnes at 13. Wow. I understand it, but I'm also like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, it's literally like, I just want everyone that can just tackle hard, roll up the sleeves.
That was my initial, like, all right, we're just not picking offensive talent. We're just not even worrying about that. We're just going to...
Well, it was a bit of a shock that Yo's on the bench and not starting at 13 and McInnes on the bench, because pretty much everyone had McInnes penciled into the team somewhere. Yeah. Once the rumours started circling that he was in the mix.
Yeah.
And he has played well this year.
But he can play number 9. Why can't he play number 9 and pick Appy?
Well, I guess.
And when you put in Yo, you put Yo at 13. You put Cam McInnes at fucking 9. Why does that not work?
Well, it probably does, but Cam McInnes he hasn't played a lot of 9 recently in the last 5 years.
Yeah, but it's fucking... It's Origin, mate. He can tackle hard, so that's why he should play there. So
yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting because he doesn't offer a lot in terms of go forward.
Is it connection with Hines?
Well, yeah, that's obviously a part of it. So,
but it's not like Yo and Cleary where it's like connection. Like it's like they work because they're well, no,
so I think a lot of the thing was if Isaiah Yo's out there, he's going to do too much ball playing where. That doesn't work for Nico.
We've got friggin' Luai and Hines at the fucking...
No, but the way Hines plays at the Sharks is he basically has the ball the entire time. And I think the thought process is Isaiah Yo would potentially stifle some of the way he plays because he does a lot of ball playing.
That's another problem. If Hines is our messiah, Hines is our fucking guy against Queensland, then what? Then we're just set up to lose, in my opinion. I mean, I get... Dally M leader, whatever. He is not that good. Like, he's good, but he's not, like, best player in the comp good. It's not like Cameron Munster where you set your whole team around him. It's Nico Hines. He's a good player, but would he be picked if Nathan Cleary was healthy or Mitch Moses was healthy? No.
I would have had him at 6 with Cleary.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I like Hines. And I think he suits a 5/8 role more than a 7.
I get that. Honest. But I honestly think Burden's better than him. Like, I just do. I think in an Origin setting as well, you need a boot. And we're getting back onto this, but when our forwards are going to... early in the game...
We can move to the bench now.
Yeah, but it's the first minute of the game. We're taking the first hit up. We've made 30 metres because everyone's rushing up there off the line. And we need a boot to get us out of trouble. Are we relying on fucking Luai and a one-legger of Hines? What are we doing? They're going to get the ball back on the halfway line. I mean...
Yeah. Yeah, it is an issue. It is an issue for sure. And
anyway, I'm losing track again.
That gets us onto the bench. Now, this is probably, in my opinion, the strangest part, where we've picked 4 forwards on the bench. Isaiah Yeo, he's got to be in the team somewhere, I guess, on the bench. Ola Kawatu, I think, are in the team somewhere. Fair enough, on the bench. Spencer Leniu, a lot of people didn't have him. I honestly don't mind the pick. I think he's a good Origin player.
I think he's a good Origin player, but it's like... And I'm a big fan of him. I think... I don't know why I laughed there.
Well, I don't think you're allowed to be a fan of him.
Yeah. No, I think he's you watched him against the Raiders last week. He was unreal. Like, he was unreal. And I think he can have that same impact in Origin.
I think he's
it all comes down to deserve. Now, Queensland have never... Something Queensland do that I admire is they never pick on who deserves. They pick on who fits the system, who's the best player. If Cam Munster got back last week, he'd be in the team. So I'd never like to do it based on deserve. I don't like that argument that people do. However, so that's why I agree kind of with the Lanu pick. However, there is a case where he was solid his first couple of weeks and he was great last week. Now, is there props out there, or would you put in Burton instead of him? I don't know. Now, I personally...
I think he's got it, not for Burton, because he's the only middle forward on the bench.
Yeah, which I agree. I think in the team that it is currently, who else would you maybe have picked over him as a prop?
I think he's a perfect 20 minutes off the bench.
Exactly.
Instead
That's
of
why.
Origin.
That's why I agree with it. I can understand people that say they didn't deserve it. However, I don't like to think like that in Origin.
Yeah, I mean, and I've seen him literally kill teams for 3 years at Penrith. I couldn't believe he didn't make it last year. When Freddie was the coach, and I think Madge would have gone into this season assuming he's going to be in the team.
Who did he pick over? Who was it?
Pengai.
Oh my God, it was Pangai.
There's a lot of people he picked over.
Went to boxing 3 months later. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And then obviously the final spot is Hudson Young. Now, the change I would make is Hudson Young out, Burton in on the bench.
Great, we've got fucking 4 second rowers in the team.
And I know Hudson Young's had a good season. He's a good player, but I just don't see him as an Origin level player.
He's a try. Look, I don't hate it. Like, if you're picking 3 second rowers and he's one of them, I don't hate it because he's a try threat.
But he's not. Ola Kawatu's better. Liam Martin's better. Angus Crichton's better.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't have had him in the team. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you had guys like Joey Johns, who said, Hudson Young was a starting second rower. So you have a lot of discourse in it. I don't think he's a bad player.
I honestly think Joey Johns and Brad Fittler have some of the worst opinions in football. I'm sorry.
Well, they probably know a bit more than us, but
they do. But I don't understand how they come up with this stuff. It's because they have relationships with all of them.
Well, I think that aids. I don't think they're biased. I think it's because they know the players. Like, they know them. So it's like they know their personality.
Yeah, but they essentially picked the last... Well, Brad Fittler did pick the last 6 years of State of Origin teams, which were littered with fucking weird picks.
But I think this is weirder than any of Brad Fittler's teams.
I like it more than a Brad Fittler team.
Really?
Yeah. Even though as we've gone through, there's a lot of things I would change.
Look, the most head-scratching move of all time was Pangai. But there's a lot more mistakes in this team, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, but like
if you look at the team from last year, it was unreal apart from Pangai.
Uto Ikamanu?
Yeah.
Clint Gutherson?
But we also had injuries. There was
options.
Let's have a look at... Hang on. Anyway, do you want to...
Damien Cook at centre?
So you'd put Burton in over Hudson Young?
Yeah. And that's the only plausible change there could be based on how the squad's looking, because Burton's in the squad. It just doesn't make sense to go in with 4 forwards on the bench.
I get that.
And then we can shift to Queensland quickly. As I said...
Hang on, so just quickly. So the team for last year's Game 1 was Tedesco, Toto, Crichton, Turbo, Adokar, Luai, Cleary, Pangai, Coruscant, Haas, Frizzell, Hudson Young, Yeo, Paolo, Cameron Murray, Liam Martin, Nico Hines. Like, that team undoubtedly is better than this one. Undoubtedly. Yes. 100%. 100%. Like, that is a way better team.
I don't know.
Way better. Now, obviously, you've got Turbo and Cleary healthy, but apart from that, I mean, I'd still happy. Now, Frizzell is a bit of a weird one.
Frizzell and Hudson Young,
It's weird, but... And I get injuries have impacted Madge's decision-making, but was I more excited about that team than this team? 100%. Now, you wanted to move on to...
Well, in Madge we trust, obviously, until he loses. But if he loses this one game, obviously, he can go.
Yeah.
He can be shown the door. Because there are, obviously, some strange selections. Queensland team. The major, I guess, shock, David Fifita misses out. Every New South Welshman celebrated gloriously at that news. There's no way you would be happy to see David Fifita coming up in the other side. And when you see Jaden Sewer there, it's almost a sigh of relief. Now that I've said that, he's probably going to kill us.
Yeah,
like Ethan
I
Lowe
honestly
did
think
that one game.
Sewer's going to do better than Fifita.
Really?
Fifita's a good player, but he goes in and out of games. Like, you could target him in
Sewer's
defense.
just mid. He literally offers nothing.
Yeah, but he's going to be one of those players that just fucking does, like, is unreal defensive. Like, you just He's just going to play well.
Oh, well, I'm happy.
And he's back to the form that he was at South, so you can't really hop on about him for being picked.
Well, listen, David Fifita's a way better player, so I'm happy to see him there. Any other major shocks? I don't know. Queensland, you pretty much know who they're going to pick.
Yeah, there weren't any shocks for Queensland apart from Fifita.
They have a strong team.
Same team.
I mean, obviously, Ezra Mam missed out. Tom Dearden went in.
I rather would play... Now, again, probably will kill us, but I'd rather face Dearden than Mam. Especially, Mam's going to get like a double in an Origin. You just feel it.
Yeah, but Tom Dearden played in the decider a couple of years ago and killed us then. So it's just I don't know how they do it.
Anyway, game one, get pumped Wednesday. We going pub?
Yep, somewhere.
We're going pub somewhere, and
so we can do a meet and greet beforehand.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We'll get sponsored by Macca's. It'll be fantastic. Anyway, hope to watch it. Hope to enjoy a New South Wales win. Obviously, we're a bit critical, but we still go for the Blues.
That's what New South Wales is about.
Now, Oscar will be cheering for his multi rather than New South Wales. And look, if Queensland happen to be the winners on that multi and there's multiple Queensland try scorers on that multi, then he'll be
Queensland
going for that.
winning will not be in the multi.
But there will be a Queensland try scorer. And if that happens, he will celebrate. So I've already hopped on about that enough.
Dane Gagai is not in the team, so
it will be said.
Who is their lock try scorer every game now? Because it was Gagai, obviously, who was guaranteed to score every game.
I think it's Coates. Coates, yeah.
Honestly, it could be Tom Dearden.
That's not a lock. Who's their lock? Dearden, yeah. Who's their lock? Oh, probably Jai Arrow.
He's not in the team.
Still.
He'll rock up to the celebration the night after, though.
Anyway, enough Origin chat. We're running out of time here. We've just yapped on for about 20 minutes about how we hate this Blues team. Did you want to touch on UFC briefly? Oh my God, you missed.
Jesus Christ.
Get pumped. UFC, Dustin's going to win. I have faith. He's going to beat Islam. We'll put those...
He's going to lose.
We'll put
Islam's going to kill him.
We'll put those fucking Russians in the dirt where they belong. Get Conor in there. He'll finish off. If once Dustin beats Islam, Conor will get back in there. He'll fucking finish him off, put him in the grave. Then it's Conor versus Khabib again, and then Conor wins again. Double champ.
Yeah.
At 38 years old. Get in there, son.
Double champ? That's only one champ.
Nah, but he'll get another belt somewhere. He'll beat Taporia. Yeah, in there, son. He'll go down to featherweight again with his prime. Back in his prime.
No.
But yeah, Poirier is going to get smacked this weekend.
Strickland Costa?
Yeah, Strickland Costa. Strickland, I think, loses.
Yeah, it's possible. Very possible.
So yeah, but I'm hoping Dustin wins.
Everyone, I think, and he said he's going to walk out to
the Diamonds by the guy that died.
Yeah. Emotional moments.
He went viral. But did you know that back in the day he went viral for it? Like the guy that died, he was singing the Diamonds, but he just became popular recently because he died. So R.I.P.
There we go.
But anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. We had a bit of a longer chat this weekend, but yeah, Hope you enjoyed and have a great
Mhm.
rest of your weekend.
Peace out.
See you later.